What's up, y'all? My name is Ian Edwards, and welcome to the Soccer Comic Rant. And transfer window is closed. We're going to kick it off with that. We're going to talk about Arsenal's lack of transfers, especially in a key position. We're going to talk about Spurs' successful transfer window, and it seems like it. And their kidnapping of Matthias Tell, who does not want to play for them at all, but has been forced to go on loan by Bayern Munich. Everybody knows, the whole world knows. You're running next to him on the pitch will be Spurs' hand with a gun to his head. So we'll watch Spurs playing with 12 people on the pitch for the next half of the season. The biggest transfer was Marcus Rashford to Aston Villa, so we'll talk about that. And we're going to cover
Asensio
City.
too. I would say Asensio to Aston Villa. It's a pretty big deal too.
Yeah, it's a low-key big deal, for real. We'll talk about City versus Arsenal. We'll talk about Man City's transfers. I think I mentioned that. We'll talk about Spurs winning a match. First time in a minute. Congratulations, Martin. It must be a different feeling. And I'm jealous of it because Man United lost. Everton wins again. They're winning and scoring goals. I don't know how they're doing it. So the Merseyside derby, Everton might really help out Arsenal when it comes up, because Martin says no, but we'll see. And whatever else comes up. What up?
Somebody else won for the first time, I think, in a year or something.
Yeah, we're going to talk about Southampton. Yeah, I forgot. I'm looking at the list too, and I skipped it. So Lee's happy. Southampton won. How you feeling, Lee? You good?
I don't know what this feeling is. It might be good. I don't know. I've not felt it in a long
The feeling
time.
of not feeling like you're a Spurs fan. That's what that feeling is. And we got Martin, actor, comic. What's up, Martin? Spurs fan.
Hey.
Yeah, so we want to talk about this Rashford thing first. Rashford, would you say it's the biggest transfer of the transfer window, not just in England, but in Europe, period?
It's the biggest one for me of the last 24, 48 hours of the transfer window. I think the biggest one is probably still Mamouche to City.
The reason why I didn't know of Mamouche until he got to City. So I hadn't been paying that much attention to what's the team he's from?
Eintracht Frankfurt.
Eintracht, yeah. To know that how big that was. I do like what I've seen him do before, but he didn't help City yesterday.
Yeah, the Rashford one's definitely the one that's dominated the most media coverage, especially in the UK. I mean, obviously, it's been dominating the news every week, especially when United lose. It gets the talk around it gets more intense. But yeah, it's definitely ended up being one of the biggest things of this, especially the back half of the transfer window. All the rumours of all the big European clubs not materialising, and then Villa swooping in.
And I just want to respond to that. Like a lot of Man United platforms, they're hurt that Matt Rashford made the interview that he wanted to leave. And then in the transfer window, we shop him and we know he has to leave. So then he doesn't end up going to AC Milan. He doesn't end up going to Dortmund. He doesn't end up going to Barcelona. And then they're like, oh, those teams don't want you. But I think they're not thinking of Marcus Rashford tried to leave the country so that he wouldn't have to play for a team against Man United, his boyhood club in their own league. So let's give him the credit of trying that. And I think those teams did want him. It's just his salary. It has nothing to do with him being a failure transfer. And now, and they say, well, he had to settle for Villa. Villa is way above the table than us. And they're in the Champions League. So I know traditionally Villa is not on our level, but we're not on their level right now. So he definitely, traded up. So, but I hope he does well, because if he does well, then we do well. Well, unless if the price is already set for them to option to buy. But let's hope it goes well so they do buy him. If it goes well and he doesn't they don't buy him, then we still win. But we should be rooting for Martin for Rashford to do well in the transfer market. Anybody else got anything to say on Rashford's transfer?
Well, definitely we'll see what he's made of. I think, if he is was he scrutinized for Man U not having a good season, and he was kind of sort of a scapegoat in this situation, or is he the next Dele Ali and he will falter now into bigger depths of a crisis? I saw this comparison that in 2019 Dele Ali was worth 100 million, or 2018 was worth 100 million.
Never.
2.5 million. So when he joined Como,
when you saw that comparison, were you looking at your notes?
No, I was looking. He was a 100 mil player at some point. In 2016, he was 20 years old, starting for England at the major tournament, and he was second best player on the team that finished second in the Premier League. So obviously he was a major talent, and for probably less time than Rashford was. I think Rashford was consistent for a longer period of time, but then it started going backwards about a year and a half ago, I would say, when he started kind of going in the wrong direction with his trajectory of his career. And this season was a disaster. But now we'll see how much is this the fault of the team not bringing the best out of him, or is he just taking wrong turn in his professional life? It's a big test for him. I've seen it before when it worked, when a player went to a smaller team, like even Jesse Lingard, he went to, I think, West Ham, and he did very, very well. And he was never a talent of the magnitude of Rashford. I've seen it with other players. So it's a big test for him. If he suddenly becomes a major player and goes back to play for England, Man U will have a chance to give him another shot next year.
Does anybody here remember Dele Ali being worth £100 million?
Of course.
To be fair, it's hard to put a value on it, but there was a point when he was one of the best young players in the world for at least a couple of seasons. He won Young Player of the Year like back to back in the Premier League, and he was such a young age, which means that a lot of that price would have been potential, but he was delivering at a high level. The main thing difference between him and Rashford is that Rashford has actually won a few trophies. But a player can't help being at Spurs. That's not his way.
Well, he went to Besiktas. He could have won with them. Should have won. Besiktas wins trophies,
But I remember him being nice. I ain't gonna front, but I just don't remember him being 100 mil nice. Because if he was 100 mil nice, Dan Levy would have sold him at that moment. He wouldn't have sat with him there.
No, because he was the same with Kane. He didn't sell Kane. Kane was there was an offer for Kane for 100 million. I think Levy is cheap, but he's a sneaky cheap. So he doesn't like to spend on contracts. He doesn't like to pay players a lot, but he also doesn't really like to sell players that often. He doesn't really sell players that often. Look at the history of who we sell to. We don't really sell that much. We sold Walker to City. We were waiting with Kane for a long time to sell him, and there were offers from like Chelsea for 100 mil, and he didn't sell him. He didn't sell him to City.
Sold Bale, you sold Modric.
He sold Bale for 100 million. To Real Madrid. He sold Modric also to Real Madrid, not to the direct competition. So you have to look at that too. We don't really sell them. We're not a selling club, but we are a club that notoriously underpays players. Yes, that is the fact.
Since Alex just joined us and he doesn't have a lot of time, which is ironic because I said this in the chat, like he has 20 minutes and that's how long Man City played for this weekend versus Arsenal, and that's how much of a fight they put up. So let's go away from the transfers to Man City getting their cheeks clapped by Arsenal in front of the... How did you feel about that game, Alex? Like 5-1, fam. Like, I watched the game this morning. I couldn't watch it, so I stayed away. And I just couldn't believe what was unfolding before my eyes. And I actually was hoping you guys could kind of win that game. So what's up?
I think like it was kind of nice that the first 2 minutes Ortega made that error because I think like it kind of like I think like most City people at that time were like, all right, like it's gonna be rough, and then City didn't really play well for the next. So yeah, the first goal you give him a goal, like immediately, like you give him that happens, it's football, but unfortunately we're not really at that big City level when the error happens, and you're like, we're gonna win this game regardless. Now it's more like, oh man, we give away a super easy goal. So how can we? And then they had another chance. I think it was Harvard. It's like he had another the same error, the same play, and they could have just scored 2 goals and basically just ended the game. Rather, like at that point, I would have probably started like, all right, I'm gonna get on the bike and start working out while I watch the game or something. But then we came back, so it was worse because Salem like still started playing a little bit better. I think like first half we kind of like start. It wasn't like a complete domination at first half. I think we're still kind of like trying to figure stuff out. We had some chances. There was a ball that hit the post, another save from their goalie. So at that point, I was like, we might be able to tie this game. And Haaland scores, and I don't know exactly what it was. I think like it was just we score, and the fact that he scored so fast on us, like he didn't give us like a chance to kind of like settle. And then after that, just I think like since the get go, the team wasn't. I don't think it was the best lineup from Pep. You have to go play against Rice in Partey like in midfield, and we have Stones and Bernardo Silva in the midfield. Like it's not a. It's
Did
a
he
good.
have better? Did he have anybody better? I do know
No,
that Nunes does not. Matthias Nunes does not want to give his all for y'all, or he doesn't know how to. Every week, he's lacking.
The crazy part is that he got nominated as Player of the Month last month because I think we were seeing him kind of
That's
trying.
how bad you were that he won Player of the Month.
He got nominated. I forgot who won, but I think there's been like the guy is like trying, but he's not a defender. That's a problem because he's not a. I think he's making some good runs. He's trying, but at the end of the day, he's not really. He's getting beat on goals and he's costing the team goals by him either making mistakes himself, not marking correctly.
You know what he plays like? He plays defense like, I told these niggas I don't want to play defense. So I'm just going to mess up until they stop putting me in defense. Like some of the mistakes or the goals that's being leaked on his side of the pitch is like, come on, really? You didn't even try. And that's so weird for a pet player to look like, to just look effortless like that.
Yeah, so overall, like second half, a complete disaster. I think like it was just bad. I don't think there was a good player that I think Foden had a we talked bad about Palmer last week. I said I don't know what happened to Palmer. I think Foden had one of these games where he was supposed to show the world, not the world, but he was supposed to be like, okay, De Bruyne's on the bench because you've been playing. You're supposed to be his hair, and he was just. I mean, he lost the second. I think the second goal was because of Foden, like couldn't do the right pass, and it was a deflection from Partey. They scored the second one. So yeah, I think like he was just. Yeah, I think like Foden. I mean, I'm looking at the ratings. And I think he was the worst player in like he got a 5 out of 10 scores. Like he was at a City had the worst. And yeah, I think like he couldn't just break through the lines like he normally does and stuff. But it could also be just the fact that Arsenal had 2 players around Foden. Like he always was surrounded. So yeah, man, rough week and stuff. Rough week.
Anybody else want to chip in on and on the pain that Alex is experiencing and deserves right now?
After Lee and Martin talk about the game, I'll come back and tell you about the post match because that's kind of what you're gonna be interested in that.
All right.
Well, I mean, it's very simple for me. It's a very simple situation where Man City are a good team, but they're not a great team anymore, and Arsenal are a better team, and they showed it. It's as simple as that. It's a change. It's a change. It's a major change this year in Premier League, where Man City lost that strength, lost that title of being the best team in the country. They're not anymore. They're still pretty good. They will probably fight for the fourth, although I don't think they'll finish top 4 this year. but they'll probably be in the hunt for the fourth. But they're not one of the two best teams in the league right now. They're not. Definitely not. Far away from it, and as far away as the result says. That's how far away they're from it.
I don't think they're pretty good.
They were like reminded. They were like, you know, they were like the kids in the kindergarten dreaming then, you know, that, you know, they can be an astronaut, but no, first you have to go to high school, then college degree, then you can be an astronaut, you know. So they were reminded that they're not at that level anymore.
I don't think they're pretty good. I don't think a team that is out of the title race with 14 games to go should have the title of pretty good. Like, I would say they're a little less than pretty good. Like, I don't even think Alex would think that they're pretty good right now.
They're still better, but like better team than not. You know,
I think they're pretty good to me and you. They're pretty good to me and you because we're
for sure
looking up their skirt so far. You know, it's an up skirt up the table, so it looks like that to us. But nah, it's not.
Well, listen, comparing to the great city teams, they're pretty mediocre. Yeah, that's for sure. But comparing to other teams, they're still a good team. You know, they're a good team. They have good players. You know, let's put it this way. Maybe they're not a good team, but they're a collection of pretty good players, and they can beat probably majority of teams on a good day, and they can also lose. They're very beatable. They're not. They're very beatable. That's the major difference. They're cracks in the system. You know that they're not unbeatable anymore. They're pretty much beatable. On every weekend, somebody can beat them. Yeah, I agree with that.
I like that. I feel like that's like the perfect answer. They're beatable. They're very beatable. Well, I feel like before, I mean, there have been runs of City like no losing a game for 2 years, and Etihad, and they broke records for like most wins and stuff. So I don't see there's not the same team, but I definitely, just to put it in context, you know my scam about me betting jerseys with people and stuff. 2 weeks ago, my friend Madrid guy, he's all about Madrid, and it's like we're gonna win 20 Champions League. But I was like, all right, man, whatever you say. He's so confident. We get Real Madrid on the champions, and I was like, all right, I'm still take you on a bet. You want to bet? And he's like, no, I don't want to do that, because he knows, like, even though we're like City is not at a level, we can still beat Madrid, like on the Champions League, and I don't think no one would be surprised.
I think that's more of a reflection of how Madrid has been playing more than you guys. He might not pay enough attention to the Premier League to see how you guys are doing. Like, if he sees the Arsenal score, he might call you up and say, let's make that bet. But Madrid has been shaky too.
I think it's more the fact that we have played Madrid 5 times in a row. Like every Champions League for the past 5 years, we have played Madrid. And normally I think like it's been City, like one-sided City. And sometimes we haven't won the game because, you know, we go to, it's like a stupid chances from players missing, Grealish missing on the line, like stupid, like it's unbelievable, the highlights when you're like, how can not win this game? And then then Madrid advances, you know, but I think like most Madrid fans, obviously, if you give them the choice, who don't you want to play in the Champions League out of all the teams available? They wouldn't say no one wants to play. No one wants to play City, you know, even though we're at this level.
Lee, you got anything on this very beatable team that Alex supports?
I mean, yeah, it's a disaster result, but I'm still of the opinion that, yeah, City just they can turn it on still. Like, you can't assume they're going to be bad. But in this game, they were bad. Yeah, and like, you know, Alex said, the early goal just sort of seemed to suck all the confidence out of them. And especially like late on, it was probably worrying the way they just gave up late on when, you know, like Nwaneri was just dancing through him. And yeah, it's just Havertz finally managed to finish a chance. You know, it's a bad day when Havertz is just finishing with confidence. Eventually, but I mean, yeah, it's a pretty disastrous result for them in terms of the fact that they were looking like they were slowly getting back on track as well. Because there were some good results before this. Like they beat Club Brugge in the Champions League.
They beat Chelsea
to round that off. They beat Chelsea as well. Obviously they spanked Ipswich in the league before that. but then there was the PSG loss as well. So they're just weirdly inconsistent right now, which, given the players they've got and the amount of money they've spent, like that's, and especially the amount of money they're spending this window. Like they're spending way more than anyone in this window right now.
Well, let's get to that window, right? But let me hear what Alex said in what he said happened in what the coach said, and then we'll talk about the City transfer window, and then you can get back into that.
First of all, I just want to say, Lee, this is why he's the most neutral fan in the UK, man. He just said things how it is. He's neutral as fuck. Like, this is why everybody loves Lee. This is why he's the most. This is it. But I'll tell you basically kind of what upsets me. The result, like, it's all right. We're horrible game stuff. But then, like, the celebration from that young kid doing the Haaland celebration, then they're playing humble.
I've got a counterpoint against that, just quickly.
Get him, Mr. Neutral.
So do you remember the game at the Etihad when Haaland said, "Who the fuck is that guy?" to Miles Lewis-Skelly, when there was like a little scuffle. He's like, "Who the fuck's this guy?" So if I scored, if I scored against that guy, I would then be being like, "Yeah, I'm going to give it back to you. This is who I am.
I'm going to let him know who the fuck is
this is who I am." Yeah.
Then they're playing like they play humble after the game ended, like in the stadium, the Kendrick Lamar humble song, because Haaland basically says stay humble and stuff. So it's okay, like it's just, but they're acting like I get it, like they beat City, but they're almost acting like they won. Hopefully, I want them to win something this year, because if they don't win anything, it's just like if that's your trophy, beating City, like you have to do something else. That cannot be your reason for happiness, because every fan, they're just acting like they just want something. Like you guys have not won yet. Like you're celebrating. Like Haaland has done stuff to City. Haaland, Guardiola have done stuff to Arsenal in the past, celebration stuff. But that's because we just won the league against you. We went crazy because we won the league against you. That game against you gave us a league, but you're celebrating for being, I don't know how many points behind of Liverpool, like 6 or 8 or 9, So.
6 in a game, I think.
Okay.
And Haaland throwing the ball off the back of Gabriel's head. That wasn't after you won the league. That was just a regular game earlier this season. So you've earned them coming back at you here, in my opinion.
Yeah, and I think like everything that happened in this game, the humble song being played, and Miles Lewis-Skelly doing what he did, and Gabriel, when you guys scored your first goal, like getting in Haaland's face is because he threw the ball at him in the game before. So you guys are building like that Manchester United, old Arsenal rivalry with you guys. And I feel like the game in the beginning of the season when
Rodri got injured,
Haaland hit was it Gabriel with the ball, is because Haaland knew how big a game this was. Like the last 2 years, you two went down to the wire. So beating you or getting a point from you when they had none meant the league. So it was a little premature, but I get it. But now Arsenal celebrating, like this is embarrassing if Arsenal does not win the league. What's the point of beating Man City in a season and not winning the league? And that's why I kind of wanted to talk about Man City's transfer window first, but let's talk about Arsenal's lack of a transfer window, because you won this game 5-1. So, but you still need a 9, and you didn't get one. And you did try; they did try. But what do you guys think about Arsenal not getting anything in a transfer window? Like, yeah, you won on the pitch, but you need to win off the pitch to continue to win on the pitch and to catch up with Liverpool.
I think it's better to have no January transfer activity than bad January transfer activity. And I don't think necessarily that the most quality players are always available in January. And sometimes they turn out to be sort of desperation signings without the clear sort of calm head of a summer transfer window. And
so you're saying City's 200 million was desperation, bad signings?
Pure head loss. Pure head loss. Well, that's not a bad squad they have. You know, it was just a reaction, I think.
I disagree with Marmoush and Gonzalez, and then Hugo Gonzalez from Porto. I think like the other two center backs. To be honest, I have no idea who they were. I was just like
Yeah.
okay, I don't know. They're here, man. I don't know. I'm really.
Marmoush kind of makes sense because you didn't have a backup for Haaland at all.
Yeah, Julian Alvarez left, and we had the spot.
Yeah, so that one I can kind of get. Yeah, with Arsenal, I think it just depends on who their targets were, and because you know they need a world-class 9 for it to be an upgrade. They need like an Isak or someone like that, or you know, a Sesko from Leipzig who's getting to that status as well. They don't need to go out and sign someone who is just to placate the fans, but doesn't actually really add anything to them. So I think they probably
and you're right. But why make that you're not running Arsenal, but and I'm sure you would have made a higher than a $40 million or a 40 mil bid for Villa's
For
9 Watkins.
Yeah.
That was just
Arsenal
a joke. That was just like disrespect. like right before their match, like their Champions League match and stuff. Like they know like how important this game is. They're like, hey, call the player and tell him he wants to come to Arsenal for 40 million. That's a joke.
I don't think it, like everybody gets offended by that timing, but it's during the transfer window. They didn't call him.
Why didn't you call him
next
1st?
week or the week before the transfer window. It's in the transfer window. Like there's 3 games a week. It's gonna be on the nose at some point. Like so, a lot of people are pointing to that doesn't bother me. It's the 40. It's the underbid. Like why would Aston Villa give their 9 that for that much? I know you have to like negotiate, but it's never gonna be that low.
I'll tell you why. Because this is kind of like probably different from you because you're a Man United fan and this like doesn't really happens to Man United. But every time City plays Madrid like an important game, somehow the media leaks Haaland is coming to Madrid next season, or Madrid is gonna send Rodri, or Aguero is gonna come to something. So it's just mind games basically to these distractions.
Yeah, but that game has nothing. That leak has nothing to do with what Arsenal wants. You know what I mean? It has nothing to do with Arsenal. It has something to do with Villa. But like, and it does happen to us. Like we went to play you in the FA Cup final in last season, and one day before, the press said Eric Ten Hag will be fired whether he wins this game or not. There's nothing more devastating news than that. Nothing. That is the biggest mind fuck to me in football history right before a big game. Martin, what do you think about Arsenal's lack of a transfer window as a Spurs fan?
Yeah, I was surprised they didn't get the striker, especially that we got the striker, and I felt like they needed the striker more than we did, to be quite honest with you, because we're only competing right now for the cup, and that's about it. After beating Brentford, I don't think we're in relegation battle. Really, those teams at the bottom are pretty bad. I don't think we can go that low. So
we loaned
the striker. We loaned the striker. Apparently, I saw that Angie talked to him and convinced him that he will have a chance to really shine and
he begged.
Use properly. I read the report.
Come on, mate. Please, mate.
I read the report, but that Angie changed his mind pretty much, But I felt like this guy would be probably more needed by Arsenal than us, to be quite honest with you. I think Arsenal could have used him, and they didn't even approach him, and you did, and we won that bid versus Man U, being cheap in this case, not for the first time, by the way. I feel like they messed up. I think they messed up, and it shows me that they probably don't believe that they can win the title. They probably don't believe that they can scroll past Liverpool, and they're probably right. I think Liverpool are the best in the league, and they're only. I don't know. They would have to go through similar injury crisis like we do to have any danger of losing on winning the title. I think they're pretty set to win the title. They win all the more important games that matter. And even if they don't win, they get points out of the crisis situations. their best players are playing well. They're delivering. They have numbers. Trent Alexander-Arnold has assists. Salah has goals. The Gravenbach and McAllister, they keep the defensive side of things in the middle. So they're built for winning the title. They're a pretty complete team, and I think in Arsenal, I think they will be gearing up for the next year. I feel like they just gave up.
Yeah, we don't have any money, Martin. So that it's not even cheap. Like, we are walking the PSR line, so I can understand us not spending money. We bought the left back we needed, which that's a position we had to buy somebody in, and we got that person. After that, we ain't got no cash, bro.
I'm just looking, by the way, at the news that Cristiano Ronaldo Jr., who is 14 years old, scored 5 goals for his team in Arabia, and they won 5-4, like a very prestigious derby in a junior championship. He scored all 5 goals. So who knows? Maybe he'll be the next striker.
You're in a Saudi Arabian kids league, really?
Well, 5-4. He's 14. That's like a junior league. It's not a kids league.
Run that by Dan Levy. See what he says.
Let's remember this name, Cristiano Ronaldo Jr.
I got to go grab this light, but go ahead, Alex. Talk about your transfer window.
We got 2 center backs that I think no one in reality knew who they were. Like, I don't know who those guys were. Like, I just asked one of my homies that plays, like, a Brazilian guy, he likes Palmeiras. He said that this guy, the Victor is, he's like actually pretty good, but it's a young guy. Like, he's like 18 years old, so I don't know exactly why he came and stuff. Marmoush, huge fan of Marmoush, and Nico Gonzalez. Nico Gonzalez, I think, is gonna be. It's almost like the copy of Rodri. It's like another Rodri, but just less. I don't know. Maybe not as good as Rodri, but he just looks identical to Rodri. Same size, same style, same number. Like, we just bought like cheap Rodri from Portugal, while Rodri's gets better.
It's a lot of money for a January window as well.
Oh yeah, no, 100%. And also, like, this guy, like, actually the guy that I'm really excited about, but I don't know what the situation is. There's this kid named Claudio Chaverri. He plays for River. He's like supposed to be like a wonder, like one of those wonder kids that like, he's been, like, City bought him like 2 years ago. He's been playing for River Plate, and he's coming on February after the U20 championship. So that one I think that I don't know if it's gonna be good, or you never know what happens with these kids, but I mean, it's in Argentina, it's like it's expected to be like the next big thing.
How much did you spend totally?
A lot.
Say it. I want to hear the number.
Let's see. All right, 50 for Nico Gonzalez, 59 for Marmoush, 29 for Victories, and 33 for Kosanov, who I didn't know is Kosanov doesn't speak English. Like, we sent a player who no one in the team.
I could have told you that from the Chelsea game.
Well, no, I just thought, like, normally they bring players who are like, okay, like, we have somebody that can communicate with them in the field. This guy has no one. Like, he just, like, we're gonna have to have a translator on the pitch or something for him, you know?
Did he play this weekend?
He didn't play this weekend. No, he couldn't play. He couldn't play Champions League, and he didn't play against Arsenal because of Stone. Stone's back, but I feel like Stones also did not have a.
Stones did not look back to me.
Yeah, exactly.
Even though,
so maybe we should just play this kid, man. I feel like this kid, not knowing English, would have probably played better.
Even though I don't blame the Akanji turnover on Stones, like, Akanji could have turned outward and then just clear the ball.
I would say 50-50. Like, why is Stones playing that ball? Like, it's a bad pass. Like, just kick the ball out, man. Like, this is where I like Diaz sometimes, because Diaz is just like a non.
But it's the Premier League. Like, ain't nobody. There's nobody not going to be on you most of the time. And one thing I do like about Arsenal, and I'm not a scout, but I know Pep knows Arsenal presses really well. They press, like, I've been talking about how impressive their pressing is. So it's like, Akanji, he had the ball, Don't turn inside, turn outside, and then if you're gonna lose it, you could just clear it out. But you have to bail your teammates out. That's why Man City's been so good, because they bail each other out. They break presses, but their confidence is like just completely low right now, which is amazing to see. It feels like I'm watching the fall of Rome or some shit. We talked about Arsenal.
A lot of money spent. That's in summary. Spent a lot of money because we won I'm telling you, when the Chargers had 115 gone for good.
When the Chargers,
the 115 charges, like we won the case, man. Otherwise, how would you be spending too much money if you're not sure you're gonna win the case? So.
I don't know. You were stupid enough to get the charges, so maybe you're stupid enough to spend a lot of money on players. Like, you gotta hope these players have come in. Well, you'll have the summer with these players to do a preseason with them, so that'll help them.
Also, there's another side of the coin. You know, Walter White in Breaking Bad was doing the craziest things when he knew he was dying. So that's when he started doing like a lot of crazy things towards the
end. Great analogy. Breaking Bad. We got Chris Trani on the phone. He's on your phone, but he'll show up in a few, I guess, once he sets up his background. But stand-up comic. Everton, we'll get to Everton. You'll be I think you might be above United in the table, so we might have to go right to you now. I'm not
yet.
Sure. Not yet.
Not yet.
We were about to be above Tottenham, and then Tottenham decided to win a game. They decided to show
for
up.
one day you were above us.
Yeah, for one day. Yeah, can we go in order of Saturday? Can we do Saturday's order, and I'll go next?
Hilarious. Do you have to run?
I don't know. No. I'm just saying hi. You know, I'm checking in.
Yeah, Alex has got to go. Alex, are you in the so midweek is what again?
Next week, I think we have FA Cup. But there's
Carabao Cup midweek.
Is City in that?
No, it's Liverpool.
Oh, sorry.
It's Liverpool, Spurs, and Arsenal, Newcastle. Second legs, and then it's FA Cup at the weekend.
So Alex, we don't need you for that. And then midweek, and then the weekend is FA Cup. Is Man City still in there? It's hard to keep track of all their losses. Are they still in there?
Or still on in there?
Who you playing?
I don't know. We rigged that. So
Leighton Orient. You're playing.
The first couple of rounds, we play teams that it's like Wi-Fi passwords, kind of. Yeah.
No, you played Salford in the last round, who are from Manchester. And then you're playing Leighton Orient, who are East London, the historic East London club. So they're doing well in League One. So they're probably about your level right now.
Damn.
I just call him the most neutral funny. He just said that.
Well, that's your mistake. That's your desperate mistake that the rest of Man City's making with all these buys in the winter window. So and the mistakes you made, it mirrors the mistakes you guys made on the pitch yesterday. Not just kicking the ball out the back. So it's all good. Where's Anderson? Why didn't he play yesterday?
He said that he had some tightness on his legs. Yeah, man. It sucks because he's gonna. I think he's gonna go to Saudi Arabia like over the summer.
Yeah.
And people have been saying that it's Ortega guy. It's like as good as Ederson.
He's not.
He's not exactly. So they're gonna have to spend another 100 million on a goalie, you know. So.
Good luck.
All right.
Thanks for joining, man.
Alex, do you have to go? Are you leaving now, Alex?
I have to. Yeah.
All right. Stay humble, bro.
Damn.
Oh, man. See you later, guys.
I had to do it.
Nice shot. So, all right, let's just do United and get it over with. We in the transfer market, we got Dalgru. It's a left back. He can also play right back. As far as metrics is concerned, for young left backs in the top 5 leagues across Europe, he's at the top of all the metrics. But United's having trouble where players that can play come to us and tighten up. Like the players we have now that we got in the summer transfer window, we thought we had a great window, and people are tightening up and not giving us everything that they give to other teams before they came to us, or when they leave and go to other teams, they excel. So,
Anthony was a player of the game in his first game for Real Betis.
You know what? I knew he was going to bring that up. So I watched the highlights, and he didn't do shit in those highlights. He did the typically Anthony cutting and took a shot. The goalkeeper saved it, and then Isco, ex-Real Madrid player, tapped it in. Anthony beat his chest like he scored that goal. It's like, no, that still doesn't even count as an assist. Get out of here. It might count as a goal action, but like you didn't do. Then he had one nice pass to a player. It was a pass that he'd never made at United. So I'd give him that, and the player took the shot and it was saved. But those were the only highlights they showed of Anthony. Like, and did they win the game or was it a tie? So I don't know how.
2-2.
2-2. That's what I thought. So I don't know how he got player of the match for those two plays. But there was like, I was like, when you said that, I was like, of course, Anthony had a great game. Then I looked at the highlights, and that's all it was. So, and again, if he does well, that's better for us because we spent so much money. We need him to do well so we get some money back. As far as
I saw him taking a wild shot as well that like went off like way into the distance.
And listen, I didn't see it, but because I know Anthony, I believe you 1,000% that he did that in that game. So they're bugging over there. They just probably did that to affect us. You know what I mean? But I didn't see player of the match in the highlights. There was the guy, I didn't see player of the match in the highlights. As far as us versus Crystal Palace, you know what Crystal Palace did? They proved to me that Amarin's 3-4-3 could work because the way they played it, it worked against us. They used the same system against us. And like, oh, that's how you're supposed to play this. Now, we had most of the ball. We took the game to them. I think they kind of like mid to low blocked it and tried to counter us. And that's where they got their goals with the big Mateta up front, like spearheading their attack. Like we had the ball for the majority of the time, as you should if you're Man United playing Crystal Palace at home. But the way we attacked left us vulnerable, and we need to know how to hold on to the ball when we're pressed. Like every time Mazraoui got the ball, there was somebody on him, and he pretty much kicked it away, you know, because he didn't want to lose it in our end. So then we gave up possession, but then we did fight them for possession, and we did get the ball back from them too. So those battles were pretty much even, or we might have won those. It's just that in the second half, when we went for the kill, we were exposed, and then they scored on us. And then after that, some of the presses that they were doing in the first half stopped working because all of a sudden the players were like, we got to win. And we kicked to this desperation drive and did some of the things in the second half after we were down a goal that we should have did when we had the ball in the first half. So I was like, oh, so you guys do have some skill. So where was it in the first half? So then we go full on attack. We take off Ugarte because now we need to put Eriksson on. We need to try to get this goal back, and we'll open more. Mateta and them like breach us again on the counter, and we lose. So we lose the game. I feel like we need another attacker. We didn't get one in the transfer window. The good thing is we didn't lose God. We tried. And I think he wants to come to us more than you, but I think Bayern Munich, listen, you tried to buy that guy for 60 mil. And he was like, nah, I don't want Spurs permanently. He's like, I want United. And then I think Bayern was like, hey, man, you need to take the 60 mil. All right, compromise with us and at least go there on loan and then see if you like it, and then we can get to 60 mil. But to be honest, I do think Spurs is a better place for that kid to be honest. Just the way when I look at your team with no injuries, and the depth from the kids that they're balling right now, and you add this kid, I feel like you're completely in a better place than us. I think that statement that Anne said, we're in a better place, is correct to a certain point. Not in the table, but like personnel-wise, I stick to that. So I feel like that kid will go on loan, and then he'll tell your guy, he'll tell Bayern, like, you know what, I'll stay here. So eventually he'll want to stay.
You know, the first game, ironically, will be against United, probably, where he will play. It will be between Richarlison. You know, so let's see what he can do. If he can have a great start, because Solanke is injured, so Solanke is our starting center forward. It's between him and Richarlison, and Richarlison is kind of erratic. He had chances in this game too, and he didn't score. He scored a week before, but in a losing game. I think if he's as good as advertised, he will have a good end of the season, and we'll see what happens. You know, he may go back to Bayern and play for Bayern. We don't know.
I just don't think he'll be good yet. He's 19. It's the Prem. He wasn't starting for Bayern. Bayern has a lot of players, so for him to just come to the Prem at such an early age, it's going to be hard for him to be good. But if he decides to stay with y'all and does a good enough job for you to want him, I feel like he's a good future player for you guys. And which means, like, we could have got him on loan, but the money they wanted was too much for us. And I also think he was probably too young to help us the way we need help. We need a proven goal scorer.
Look, I don't want to, Ian, I don't want to upset you, and I know you're probably tired of talking about it, but like proven goal scorer who you have on the bench, I didn't see any Rashford updates.
You're frozen. You're frozen. Yeah, and could you turn your phone sideways?
Oh, how so? What's going on with my phone?
It's just you're giving me there you go. That's what I'm talking about.
Is that better?
Yeah, it's way better.
There we go.
Yeah. I couldn't use. Go ahead.
I'm in the Caribbean right now. I'm in the bottom of a boat right now tuning into y'all.
Oh, you doing a cruise ship?
Yeah, I'm on some freaking cruise. So, but life's good. So, yeah. I didn't want to I didn't get to see, but like in the 11th hour, did Rashford get moved at all, or is he still?
No, he's at Villa.
Oh, that happened. That's official.
Yeah, they don't get like new transfer news out to boats, I guess, but he's at Villa,
and that got confirmed yesterday.
Yeah. Oh, he's gone to check.
That's what he wanted to know. He just came on wanting to know if Rashford got the move.
All right, I guess he knows now. So
hilarious.
He's gone.
Okay, yeah, I got angry and I got mad. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Yeah, sorry, y'all. Connection's real weird out here.
No, cruise ship connections are tough. Yeah.
And this is, by the way, this is how this season is strange, and how the situation in the Premier League has changed in terms of. Like I've read that story that there's no more top six, there's no more like elite six. It's not those like six clubs that were traditional superpowers. They're not traditional superpowers anymore, because the other it evened up. The level evened up because the other teams, they have enough money to buy very good players. So it's funny that Rashford actually was an outcast at Man U, that is a 14th team, and he went on loan to prove himself to a team that is in the Champions League.
Yeah, but he went to a team that just lost 2 Premier League games in a row.
Yeah, but a better team. Technically, he's on a better team right now.
No, he's definitely 100% on a better team. It's an upgrade, no question.
Yeah.
Some of the fans wish they could probably go with him.
Do you feel like, are you kind of glad that what are your thoughts on it, Ian? I haven't had a chance to follow the pod religiously to your letter to the word. Like, what are your thoughts on Rashford and all that shit?
I feel like he needed to go. This is why I think Villa has I feel like, just based on everything that's going on, I feel like Rashford was a part of the bad culture at United. Yeah. And the reason why is because he was there when the guys who were successful had just left, and the guys that didn't have the culture came in, but they were ahead of him. So he picked up some bad habits from the people that were ahead of him, and those people came in right after the Sir Alex Ferguson era.
Yeah.
And so he picked up some of the bad habits, and he's a senior player on the team. And even when Erik ten Hag, he underperformed, Erik ten Hag would still play him. I feel like when you talk about things that Mourinho said, and when you think about things that Rangnick said, that he probably meant Marcus Rashford as some of those things. I feel like he did. We got to give him credit for the season that he had under Erik ten Hag the first season.
Yeah.
And then he fell off a cliff the last season and a half. But going to a team with good culture, it's going to stand out if you are not practicing and you're just going to look bad. Your secret's going to be out. This is a way you can get away with murder now if you toe the line and train hard like a Villa player. Because then you could be like, see, I'm doing good over here. Sancho's doing good over there. So it's like, it would just behoove him to be the best player he could be. He'd get back on the England squad. He can, like, if he can make Villa want to pay him the wages that he's on now. Because even if Villa wants him, they may be like, you're good, but you're not 300 something good. But if he wants to keep his money anywhere he goes, this is his chance. So it's almost like he's playing for a new contract again. And he was great with us when he was playing for a contract. So I feel like I'd be surprised if this ain't a successful move. Chris is going in and out on that cruise ship.
Sorry.
No, it's all good. You're gonna have to watch the pod for my answer because I answered your question.
No, I heard it. It was good for the most part. I do want to see him. It's weird. You want to what is it about like watching a fallen hero? You now want to see him. You want to see him like a phoenix. You want to see him rise from the act. Now I want to see a good Rashford again. You know.
You probably will. You'll probably get your fairy tale ending. Man United won't, but you will.
Sorry, man.
Since we're going down the table, let's go to Spurs. I don't even know how Spurs is still beneath us in the table. That because United is
still next weekend.
Yeah, well, the weekend after. But I really don't. You won, and then we lost, and you're still beneath us. But that's how bad you guys are too. So talk about your experience this week and a beaten Brentford, a team that's tough to beat, and you didn't give up any goals.
No. They're one of those teams that can be very bad and very good depending on a day. They're kind of extremely inconsistent team. They're like a yo-yo team. One day they're fantastic, the other day they're terrible. I think that was one of the games where they were really bad, and we outplayed them in this game, even with really experimental roster. And a lot of even more injuries like that. That was like really the super depleted team. I don't think there was like a one senior player on the bench. There were all youngsters on the bench, and some youngsters also in the starting lineup. Spence was amazing. He was a difference maker. And more.
I love that kid, bro.
And more, 17 years old. He's playing very well. 4 games in a row. He was one of our best players. I think Gray's getting better. He's not a defender. He's a defensive midfielder. But when he has a chance to play his own position next year, I think he will learn from that experience. He'll get some reps. He had some last minute tackles, like 2 or 3 of them that prevented a pretty dangerous situation in our penalty box. I think that was pretty impressive that he's sort of learning on a job. Mm-hmm. And some of those players stepped up, and that's good. It's a very good result for us, for sure. In a game that actually we didn't have many senior players on the team, like that's the first time I could have, if let's say it goes the other way, that would be the first game where I would say, but we really didn't have anybody on the field.
You had Bissouma, you had Bentancur.
Yeah.
You had Davis, you had Porro. I mean, you had Son, you had Richarlison.
Yeah. But the rest were youngsters, and the whole bench was youngsters. So we managed to win that game. I think Maddison will be back for Man U game. We'll obviously get done. So although I heard a little wrinkle about the Danso thing, that is hopefully it's just a bad rumor, because now it's hard to tell from all those websites what's real, what's not real. Rashford was sold to Barcelona, but by a few websites a week ago, and he didn't end up in Barcelona, and he didn't end up in Galatasaray, where some other reports were saying that he's already in Galatasaray, and he ended up in Aston Villa. Sometimes there's a lot of misinformation, not only in politics, but also in football. There's a lot of misinformation out there. So I've heard that report that Danso, before he was sold to Tottenham, he failed medical test at Juventus. I don't know how accurate it is. I hope it's not true, because we need him. We need a defender to play for us. We like I said, we played Gray, who's not a defender, as a center back, and now Dragusin, who actually wasn't playing very well at all, he's also down with injury. He's out for the season. So we will actually need both Danso and Tal for us in the game against United, and Maddison will be probably back, and maybe two more players will be back. So I'm confident. But my confidence is not because we're playing that well, because we're not. But my confidence is because I do watch Man U games, and that's where my confidence comes from. That because Man U was really poor against Crystal.
Oh, you have Liverpool first to be concerned with.
Yeah, I don't think we can beat Liverpool. I think they'll step it up in the second leg. I don't think we have a shot against Liverpool.
Ange has to win this game, bro.
Listen, I'm going to support us. I hope we will, but I'm just realistic. Liverpool is on a different level, man. It has to be really a lucky win for us to go through. There has to be a luck involved for us. You know, if it's just the football skills, I don't think there is a chance. I don't think.
Is it just football skills, or is it just tactical? Because you guys have a goal, right? You won.
That's actually a very good result from the first game. 1-0. That's a very good result.
Right. So it's home and away rules. You go into the other team. Should you throw yourself at them when you have the advantage and you could go through with a tie? Or so tactically, is Ange going to do the right thing?
I don't know, man. I wouldn't bet my money on it. I'll tell you that.
How did he play? Did you guys play defensively at all this weekend? Like, how did you play? Did y'all throw yourselves at them? Or were you tactical at all?
Brentford, they were really poor. I mean, we played better defensively, obviously, you know, but they were just bad. They didn't create chances almost at all. There were like 2 clearances from Gray, and I think they had one chance when someone shot over the bar. I think Wissa shot over the bar in a pretty good situation. But no, Brentford were really poor in this game. Really, it was a bad game. It was not very good game.
Lee's face disagrees with you. What you saying, Lee?
Brentford had double the XG on Spurs in this game. They were bad in front of goal, and they were sloppy at the back to allow Spurs to punish them. But like watching the game, Brentford were the better team. They just didn't finish, and Spurs took their chances. It's a bit of a lucky win.
It says here 20 shots by Brentford, 13 by Spurs.
Well, how many on goal though?
4 shots by Brentford on goal. 2 shots. The 2 goals that went in on goal by you guys.
Yeah, you can't say they didn't create anything. They did more than Spurs in this game, but they didn't finish. It's one of them. Like this should have been another Spurs loss on the train of Spurs misery that has been 2025. You can't say that,
you know. You can say that. I think
I can. The stats are saying it for me as well.
I watched the highlights. There was maybe 1 or 2
highlights,
dangerous situations for Brentford. The fact that they shot on, you know, that they took shots, but those shots were bad shots. I mean, they didn't really. It wasn't like our goalkeeper was the man of the match and anything like that. No.
I do want to ask.
They missed work once or twice. They missed, you know, that's true. Visa missed. But overall, I mean, yeah, maybe they had the ball a little bit more, but they didn't have like clear chances.
Do you like your
I
chance?
do want to ask.
All the stats suggest otherwise.
Yeah. I do want to ask, last time I was on the pod, Martin, you were anti-Ange and you were team fire Ange.
Yeah.
Where are you at with that now?
Still. I think he either steps up and learns from his mistakes and comes up with something different, a different outlook, or we need a different manager, because it's been a very poor performance from him this year, for sure.
And what do you feel about your transfer window?
Although I will have to tell you this about Ange, one thing that, you know, when I read the story about Tal, and that Ange was instrumental in bringing Tal and convincing him, I think he's got a good relationship with players. I really do. I think he does. I think he does. Players like him, media like him. But that's good. That's a positive. You know, like if he can somehow look into the mirror and see what mistakes he's doing and correct them, then sure, you know, like everybody deserves a second or third chance if they're willing to learn and correct those mistakes. You know, like I'm not the guy who says that first mistake and there's no hope. You know, let's see what he can do. If he can learn from that, you know, if he can learn and do better, sure. But if he continues to do everything only one way, I don't think that's sustainable for future.
All right. What do you think about your transfer window? Did we discuss this already?
Yeah, Danso and Tal. I mean, two reinforcements that we really needed. Yeah, that we really needed.
Since you put so much misinformation in the chat, I hope you're a victim of misinformation now with this dance and snafu that you are worried about. You deserve that, because Martin will put any rumor in the group chat.
Yeah.
As if it's fact.
That's what the group chat is for.
Well, you know, apparently Spurs were definitely getting Tomori. Instead, they've had to go. They've had to go and sign a Southampton cast-off, a reject.
No, he's a good player. He's a good player. He's a really good player. He's a very good player.
If you ever have him and Romero together, the opposition are guaranteed a penalty. Trust me.
Depends if Pedro Porro is on the team.
Yeah, Pedro Porro would give away a goal way before there needs to be a penalty, so don't worry about it. Whatchamacallit? So is it? I guess it's Chris's. How many games Everton won in a row?
3. We have won 3 in a row. It's the first time in 10 months we have racked up 3 wins in a row.
David Moyes, baby. David Moyes.
And how are you feeling, especially after the win this weekend?
Well, it's funny. It's like on Saturday when we overtook Spurs, we were like never going down, and then Spurs won on Sunday, and we're like, we're back at it.
It doesn't mean you're going down, because the other teams beneath you didn't win. You're fine.
Yeah, we're good. We're good. I feel like every time we do this pod, there's the awkward, like, brief, like, respite for Everton, and then we're like, yeah, we're good. Who's going down? And then we're like, hey, Lee.
By the way, you know, there was a rumor in one of those rumors, and I think Gary Neville said it, or Roy, one of them, that the perfect striker for Man U is Calvert-Lewin, that they should go after Calvert-Lewin.
Who's injured? Who didn't? He's injured. He did.
Yeah, he's injured.
No, but
he's always injured.
Yeah,
he's always injured. Yeah. Look, I don't know. I mean, if you want to hear it, Moyes is creating. He's more creative. He's got the guys actually playing ball. You know, they're passing the ball. They're using the wing. They're doing long balls to actual striker. It's impressive to see a manager create. That's what's happening at Everton. It's like, it's the same squad.
Calm down. It was just Leicester. It was just Leicester. Calm down.
Liverpool next.
This is what I didn't understand. Why did Leicester play a high line against you guys? Like, why is Leicester playing a high line? Like, that didn't make that's a bad call. Like, 2 of the goals were one was from a direct long ball, but the other 2 was like the exploitation of a high line that nobody's ever accused Leicester of having a good high line. So why are they playing it? So I don't understand.
Yeah.
But you guys
and even Moyes has credited Dyche with he goes, I can build off this defense. Like, thank you to Sean Dyche for giving us a defense that I can build off of. Offensively, he's working the other end. But like, I agree with you. No sense in it.
Yeah.
And I can there are reasons why a team would do that though, because like if you're playing against a team who are gonna play direct, like you've got options. Like you can press high and try and shut off the supply and stop the long balls, which I think was probably their plan, but they just executed it badly because it's Leicester. Or you can sit in and let them play those balls onto you, which that's kind of inviting it as well. So you're damned if you do, damned if you don't. You need to just make sure that whatever game plan you do have, you execute well, because if you invite teams onto you, then you need centre backs that are going to just head everything away and not get beat up in the air. And with Beto starting, like he's a monster. So you're going to have issues there. And I thought maybe they looked at it and went, well, Beto's not the quickest, so if we play the high line, he might not be able to run in behind with pace. So I can sort of see the reasons in theory. They just executed it terribly, and they let the ball bounce on some of those long balls as well when you need defenders just taking charge, whatever you're doing. And Beto looked up for it though as well. Like he got his chance with Calvert-Lewin's injury, and
he scored a high line goal.
Scored 2.
Yeah,
well,
he scored a goal that
that
he'd be accused of not being able to score because of speed. He scored a high. I saw it. I was like, so I don't know, because Leicester doesn't press well. Yeah. Leicester doesn't press well.
I do want to say, and I feel like I've broken records sometimes on this pod. We don't know how half these players can play, in the sense of like we're under Moyes, we're finally seeing complete ball. Like under Dyche, we were just seeing defense. So like we don't know how Calvert-Lewin. Like a lot of people are like Calvert-Lewin.
He's gone.
Yeah.
He drowned. He drowned. You know what? Nobody wants to talk about Everton anyway, to be honest. Let's just keep it real.
It's funny that there are almost no Everton fans out there, and we had already 2 on this podcast in the history of the podcast, right?
Yeah, who was the other one?
Irish guy was also an Everton fan, right?
Oh yeah, Mark Hayes. Oh yeah, and speaking of Mark Hayes, shout out to we lost Ken Flores, funny Latin comic that was on the rise, and just hard to go out to his family, and thanks Ken for what you did while you were here, man. We appreciate you, fam. He was a good friend of Mark Hayes.
Did you know Ken? He's a good friend of mine too.
Oh, right. You know what? I don't even think I ever met Ken, to be honest, bro. He's just been in my Instagram feed for like the last few months. So I felt like I knew him. I only like when he passed it, I said, oh shit, I didn't really know him. I just felt like because he was a comic and he was on my Instagram feed all the time, I was liking his posts between him, Rene Baca, and Ralph, that it just felt like I knew him.
Did he move from Chicago to LA?
We had the same agent. I didn't find out until after. But I don't know if he did move. He might have.
He did. He was a Chicago comic. He started in Aurora, a suburb of Chicago, and then was kind of working in Chicago, and then blew up. Literally just started posting clips online. Like that's the he's literally the fairy tale of like posting clips, getting a following, moving to LA, opened for Fluffy at the United Center in Chicago. Like he was the real deal. So, and then, honestly, Ian.
Damn, you can't be like losing reception during a tribute. He'll be back.
That middle of the ocean connection.
Yeah.
I'm so sorry, guys. This is the Wi-Fi connectivity I have on this boat. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Bottom line, if you were following his Instagram, you knew Ken Flores. That's who he was. That's totally who he was. Yeah, he was a real G. So
yeah, man. Sorry for your loss too, man. Because you knew him.
Yeah, he was cool. Yeah, he was very cool. He brought me on the road with him, and last time I saw Ken Flores, he was rolling a joint outside a hotel.
So
he's a good guy.
Good guy.
Yeah.
Anyway. Yeah, where do we go from here? Did Everton do anything during the transfer window?
Dude, they got some midfielder who I'm actually Lee. You would know about him. He used to play for the Saints.
Who is it?
It's like this Carlos Alcaraz guy.
Oh yeah, that got completed today on loan. Yeah, he's a good player. He's a little bit of a loose cannon.
Yeah.
Because we still had him in pre-season this season before he went to Flamengo. And we played Lazio in a friendly, and he sparked like a bench clearing brawl because he decided he wanted to try and fight one of their players. He's that sort of guy. But he can score goals as well. Like I think he was one of our top scorers this season. We got relegated. Like he hit some goals, and yeah, he just didn't fit into our previous manager's system. Our previous manager liked structure and order and sort of players following instructions, whereas he's more of a maverick. Like he'll just kind of run around doing what he wants, which I don't know if that is the ideal fit for a Moyes team.
Right.
Because you can't really play him as a 6 or an 8. Like he can't play that role. So he'll play the 10 if he is going to play, or a false 9, depending on how you want to play. I don't think a false 9 really suits Moyes' system. Like he needs like a Beto or a Calvert-Lewin. So if you play him as a 10 and you've got 2 solid players behind him, he'll run around and he'll score some goals. But yeah, if you're going to have to defend for a game, like if you're playing against one of the big guys, I'd probably put him on the bench because he won't defend.
Good. Yeah. Yeah, there's a lot of praise about him. Apparently, he brings a lot of energy. He scored some goals, which we need. Lord knows we need. So we'll see. Yeah.
Yeah, Everton spending some money, something. Lee, Southampton won. Who did you beat again?
Yes. Ipswich. Basement battle.
Deportation battle right there. And so to give us your description of the match, and let me know, did you do anything during the transfer window? I don't think you did, but could be wrong.
we did some moves. They were very low key though. But I'll tell you about what do you want first, the game or the window?
Game and then window.
Okay, the game, we didn't play great, if I'm honest.
What a surprise!
But we did we did the thing. Hey, we got the same amount of points as you this month, I think. So,
damn, this month. It is February 3rd, though. Are you including January?
Yeah, I'm including January. I think we got the same amount of wins this calendar year as Tottenham. I don't know, but in February we certainly have. But I mean, yeah, we didn't play great, but we did the thing that you need to do if you're going to play Ipswich. We battled and we worked hard. Like the quality wasn't great. In terms of stuff we did with the ball, but our new left wing back Wellington, Brazilian guy, it was his first Premier League start. So I saw him play for the under-21s a few weeks ago. I went to watch the under-21s against Fulham, and he played 45 in that. He'd only just arrived in the country, it was interesting. Like Alex was talking about the City defender they signed who couldn't speak any English. This guy can't speak English either. And I know that because when I went to watch the under-21s game and he was playing, everything he shouted was just hey. Like he would like if he wanted someone
sometimes that's good. Sometimes I remember I think Neil was sharing something in the group chat that they asked Diego Costa about all the stuff that people write about him in the media, if it bothers him, and he said, I don't speak any English.
No, that's it. But like this guy, it was quite funny just watching this guy play, because like if he wanted the ball, he would just go hey, and then if he wanted someone to like cover and mark someone, it would just be the same noise. He would just, everything was like hand gestures.
That's hilarious.
But no, I mean he came in, he played well. Grumbach, the Danish international that we got on loan from Rennes, he came in for his first game, did okay. But yeah, we just we worked hard, and Paul Onuachu scored the winner. I'm so pleased for him because the big man. It wasn't pretty. It was a rebound off of a shot, but
hey man,
Kamaldeen Sulemana as well came off the bench because he'd been recovering from an injury, so he came off the bench and gave us like
recovered from roasting our player.
Lenny Euro. He's been pretty much injured since that. He's had a few minutes here and there, but he came off the bench and gave us like a real injection of energy for the last few minutes, and it was his shot that led to the rebound that Onuachu scored from. So yeah, I mean, Joe Aribo had a great game as well. Shout out to him because he scored the first goal for us, which put us 1-0 up, and then he ended up playing centre back because of some injuries as well. By the end of the game,
Aribo's goal was
put
crazy.
a big, nice sort of volley after the ball popped up. And yeah, so he had a big one as well. But we just, we worked hard and we ground it out. And it seems we can only beat teams in blue because our only wins this season are Ipswich and Everton. So
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, we got Burnley in the FA Cup this weekend, who they haven't conceded a goal in 2025, which is crazy. They got Scott Parker as their manager now. And interestingly, with their not conceding a goal, so weirdly, former NFL player JJ Watt is a Burnley fan. He has been for like a couple of years, which is kind of a weird
right?
one. Yeah, I think he's got some investment there as well, because they've got American owners. And he made a bet with the Burnley keeper that if he didn't concede another goal for the rest of the season, he would come out of retirement for the Bengals. And so far, they have not conceded a goal.
What if he pulls it off? Like, what if like JJ Watts has to like come out of retirement and then on the first down he gets hit and turned into a vegetable?
Damn. Cold-blooded.
I mean, who knows? But Burnley have conceded one goal this calendar year, but that was in the FA Cup against Reading, and they had a different keeper in goal. And the keeper that asked him about this, James Trafford, I don't know if he'll play against us this weekend or if they'll play their other keeper. I don't know if they have like a cup keeper. So we'll see there. But although Burnley still have a league game before they play us, they're playing Oxford tonight. So, but then we got them at the weekend. I'm going to go to that one. Be interesting to see how we get on against a team that are like towards the top of the championship, because this is our preview of next season essentially. I'm interested to see how that goes. But transfer window wise, we brought in obviously Grombach and Wellington came in. Wellington's a permanent deal. Grombach's a loan from Rennes. And then today we got in a guy from Antwerp in Belgium, another loan. He's like a winger who's been described as being similar to Doku. But I mean, I don't know how good he's going to be because his stat line's pretty bad for Antwerp first team, but for their B team, he has cleaned up. Got like 9 goals in 12 games in the B team, but he's young. He's like 20 years old. Victor Udo. So he's in. He came before he went to Antwerp. He came from a club in Nigeria called Hype Buzz FC, who do not sound like a real football team. But I love that name.
Sounds
That's
like
amazing.
an energy drink.
Yeah.
And
then one that upset me slightly was we sold one of our young players, Sam Amo-Ameyor, who we got from Spurs, actually. We pinched him from Spurs Academy. And he's been like a prospect that we thought was going to like follow Dibbling through into the first team, but we've loaned him to Strasbourg, who are part of the Chelsea empire. And that's with a permanent deal on the end of it. So I'm a bit gutted to see him go because I think he could have been a big player for us in the next couple of years. But he's like an 18-year-old kid who, hasn't really quite made the step up yet.
Oh, and then we did talk about Everton. So let's just go over the Carabao Cup real quick midweek.
I just want to mention one thing that I forgot about transfer window, that we made a bid for that Crystal Palace center back, the one who plays for England.
70 million for Gueye.
Yeah, but I think they wanted more money, and we didn't. They wanted like 100 million for him.
I don't think they wanted more money. It's like you can't buy our captain in January for 70 million. Yeah. Like, are you out of your mind?
Well, I mean, I think he's a very good player, and but that's the right player to target.
They do too, and Crystal Palace is close to where Spurs is at in the table, I kind of feel. So it's like, why would we strengthen you? That's almost as bad as the way Arsenal came at Ollie Watkins. It's like, there's no way those teams would do that. or make those deals, you know?
Mm.
But this is big, Martin. Liverpool, you kind of said it, but you won the first game. You're going to Anfield. Ange always wins a trophy in his second season. Is this the trophy? Because this will take you to the final, right? If you win.
If we get a draw, yeah.
If you at least get a draw, you could, yeah. So you don't believe in this at all?
At best, we get a draw, but yeah, sure.
And Liverpool has had some draws.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. The draw is our hope. You know, if we get a draw, that's like the best we can probably do.
So what you think? So the draw. What about you? Anybody else?
I would say I give myself 30% chance. I give my team 30% chance to go through. Yeah, 30%.
Yeah, you have a lot of injuries, but I kind of want to root for you on this one for some reason. You know?
Yeah, it's a Cinderella story in a way. Yeah, for sure.
That's not the reason why. You know, maybe if you win, there's a new joke we can make up about Tottenham. But yeah, why not? Like, why should I kind of like Ange, Yeah. And I feel like the way he deals with the media, even though it's snarky and he loses his temper, is the way the media deserves to be treated. Because it's not like he's just attacking people. He's attacking people that are trying to bring him down. So it's like, but you have to answer them without teeth. Meanwhile, their questions all got claws. So I kind of feel bad for Ange for some reason. And I do like the style of football that Tottenham play, and I do believe, like Martin said, they could tweak it and be better defensively. But I do think I don't know if you're gonna win, but why not? Why should Liverpool just run off and win everything this year? Like, what am I doing rooting for them? So I'm rooting for you, but I don't know if you can pull it off.
Let's not forget one thing, number one in the league with a big advantage. Number one in the Champions League, the best team.
Yeah.
And clear favorite of this game, clear favorite of this game for sure.
Clear favorite. Arsenal versus Newcastle. Last time Newcastle played Arsenal at Arsenal, they won 2-0. Now Arsenal's coming to them. Any chance Newcastle is going to blow this? Are they going to stand on theirs, finish the deal, and go to the final versus Spurs or Liverpool? Who y'all got?
Arsenal. And just after that big old, just crushing Man City the way I think their confidence is going to be high. I'd be shocked to see, Magpies upset. So,
not sure. They don't have to win the Newcastle. What was the first game?
2-0. 2-0.
Yeah.
So they're in the driving seat.
But Newcastle lost their last two home games against Fulham and Bournemouth. So it's not beyond the realms of possibility. I think Newcastle, I think their fans, like a midweek game under lights, their fans are going to be like feral for this game as well. Because Newcastle are like Spurs. They're a club that have not been anywhere near a trophy in years. So I think they're going to be super up for it. And I think they'll just about get it over the line. I think it'll be close. I think it might end up being like a 2-1 win to Arsenal or something, but Newcastle will I think they'll scrape it through. I'm calling Newcastle Liverpool final.
Yeah, I'm calling Newcastle to get through to the next round. I don't know what the score is going to be, but I feel like despite their last two games, losing them at home, like you said, the feral crowd and Newcastle knowing what it is, they'll stand on theirs. And I feel like Arsenal coming off a game where they won 5-0 and Arteta didn't make any transfers, but the fans of Arsenal will be like, maybe we don't need a striker. This would be the game to confirm that Arteta and Arsenal should have bought somebody, a 9 specifically, this transfer window. Even if Newcastle just scrapes through, it's going to be like, you should have got a 9. You should have got somebody. what that fantasy league do? Then we can get out of here.
Oh, I mean, this is a big compliment to Everton. Me and Martin both decided to play the assistant manager chip, which is a new feature on David Moyes. Me and Martin both saw some worth in that, and we hit jackpot on that because he got 12 points for both of us.
Damn.
Nice.
Already. And
nice.
That is, it's a pretty big amount. And
so you're who we've got to thank, right? Like, we got to thank you.
Normally
but I also had 2 other Everton players on my team. That's got a lot of points. I had Pickford and Mikolenko.
Yeah.
I thought you were gonna say Ashley Young.
And I had Njai.
Yeah, love him
in mine, and he got 8 points because I brought him in for the double game week. So I'm rooting for you guys against. Well, I'm semi rooting for you guys against Liverpool because I've got Salah as captain and Alisson as my keeper. So I don't really mind who, as long as someone does well in that game.
We beat Liverpool last year in the derby. We beat them, and they lost the. We got to sing "You Lost the League" at Goodison Park. So I'm hopeful for at least a draw. I really am. That might be naive, but
the final one at Goodison as well, isn't it? Final Goodison and
final
Merseyside derby.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I hit a decent amount of points this week with. I think I'm on 98 points so far because I had Chris Wood bang the hat trick. I captained Salah, who got the 2 goals. I had Murillo got a clean sheet for Forest. Alisson clean sheet for Liverpool. Palmer got me an assist today. Nice. Martin's pretty good. Martin's on 105 already because Martin had Aina and Murillo and Pickford and Mikolenko and Trent. There's some duds in there for him though as well. Isak didn't hit this week, but I had him as well. Ahmad didn't hit this week. So yeah, in the derby, Martin's got McAllister, Salah, Trent, Pickford, and Mikolenko, and I have got Alisson. I'm Moyes. I've got Alisson, Luis Diaz, Salah, and Jai and Moyes. So we got a different selection of players for there. But up the top of the table, Ahmad Zekri's still number 1. He played Moyes on the assistant manager chip as well. A lot of people have got Moyes for it. Brian Avila, who's in second, he played Slot on the assistant manager chip. He got 10 points, so he's looking like a good call as well. A lot of people have gone for Slot or Moyes because of the double game week. So people have locked in on that.
So Moyes has gotten the new manager bounce to fantasy league teams.
Yeah,
that's good.
Yeah.
And then Joey Duda, he's in third still. He played Slot on the assistant manager chip. So everyone's going Slot or Moyes because of the double game week. So I mean, the thing is when you play the assistant manager, you can't play triple captain or anything like that. So there's someone in fourth, Jacob Sepp Schultz, who didn't play the assistant manager, but he played triple captain on Salah, and he's got him 48 points. So he's got a big total without having played the assistant manager chip.
All right, cool. I'm getting sleepy. I didn't have any tea. I didn't have any tea equipment.
I mean, I had tea, but it's 2 a.m. here, so I'm definitely.
Damn, you'll be up. You need that tea for work in the morning. All right, everybody, thank you for joining. Thanks for joining us from a cruise, Chris. Appreciate that.
Absolutely. Thanks, y'all.
Yeah, showing off. Where you going, the Caribbean or Scandinavia or Alaska? Like, what type of cruise is this?
No, we're in the Caribbean. We left Port St. Martin last night. We are off the island of Anguilla right now, and I am bombing every night.
Damn. Do you run into people on the ship?
Yeah,
like
dude,
during the day?
A nightmare. And they're like, "You're the guy," and I'm like, "Go away."
Oh man, jeez. Good luck out there, man.
Thanks, man. It's a little brutal. I don't do clean, and yet here I am. So anyway, thanks for having me, y'all. This is fun. I really do appreciate it.
Appreciate you joining, and it's a good time for Everton. So it's good to.
Yeah, it's a good time.
Yeah, it's a good time.
Yeah, when the Toffees are winning. Yeah. So.
Yeah.
So.
Good. And Martin, you have anything you want to plug? Last words?
I mean, sure. Voice of Shadows, the film that I did, one of the main roles is on Amazon and Apple Plus. If you want to see a horror film with elements of I would say, what's the best word for it? For like mystery horror. Feel free to check it out.
Oh yeah.
Dope. I'll check that out. It's on where?
Apple and Amazon.
I got Amazon. And what's the name of it again?
Voice of Shadows.
Voice of Shadows. All right, cool. I'll check that out. What you got, Lee?
Just the socials, Lee Hudson Comedy on Instagram. Follow me on there. I've been posting up some clips and bits. So,
all right, dope. And you can follow me on Instagram at Ian Edwards Comic, also on YouTube at Ian Edwards Comic. And yeah, we're gonna start putting some comedy clips on YouTube as well as Instagram. And I'll put my dates up this week on Instagram for real. I got some dates that I haven't put up. I've just been lazy, but I'll do that tonight. So thank you all for joining and listening and watching. iTunes, Omni Studios, Spotify, and like and subscribe on YouTube. Leave some comments and we'll respond to y'all. Enjoy the possibility midweek of Spurs beating Liverpool and getting to the final of the Carling Cup 1. I don't know why you're laughing.
I don't think